Testing 1, 2.
The box is on.
Huh?
Are the boxes on?
Yeah.
Are you sure? The other one doesn't look like it's on. Oh, that's
Oh, the other one there. Only on red, though. Testing. Testing 1, 2, 3. Don't like that.
it's because your master's all the way down.
Oh.
Hi, I played a piano piece on December the 1st, and for Christmas I thought I'd look it up, because I know that you tape everything. I played the Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, and I actually played it flawlessly, and I wanted to send it to my son for a Christmas present, and I opened it up, and it was all just marred in every way, and filled with echoes and reverberation, and it was, I wondered,
Testing.
do you know why?
I don't know what that means.
Well, I know somewhere.
It was all broken up.
It's something we can't fix. When we send our stuff to YouTube, they reprocess it. There's nothing we can do about that.
Like it's
It almost, there. It did. Good morning. Good morning. I'm going to put my glasses on. This is the welcome. I'm your worship leader. I'm William Stanwood, Bill Stanwood, some people call me. I want to welcome those who are watching on YouTube and welcome all here at the fellowship. Each week we gather together by singing, even as we are in many different places, and whether our sacred space is virtual or live. This is a reminder that our service is broadcast live on YouTube, and we use first name and initial in the interest of privacy. Even that doesn't always happen. You are welcome here at UUFCC no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, no matter your background or spiritual journey. We know you come here for different reasons: to find community, to seek your spiritual and personal truths, to ask questions, and you're going to get a chance for that today, to nurture and to be nurtured, to explore new ideas. We come from different places, different religions, different beliefs, and different backgrounds. We trust you will find something that you need here: comfort, connection, challenge, and love. And we hope that you will find ways to help others. If you are new here, please stand or wave as you are comfortable so that we can welcome you. Doug will bring the microphone to you so we can all hear. If you want to know more about the fellowship, check out the website, uufcc.org, or ask someone. And don't feel obliged. If you don't want to stand up, it's all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Check.
Oh, hello.
Good morning.
Hi.
My name's Meg Cornell, and this is my son Wyatt.
Hi.
We live in Port Charlotte.
What am I supposed to say?
Nothing.
Okay.
He's my oldest of 4 of my children. My husband's home with them right now. And we're very happy to be here. Thank you for having us.
That's excellent.
My name is Stan. Last initial is O, but I have no problem giving a last name. Organic is my last name. And I live across the street and I live there half time. I'm a snowbird, and I've been there for actually 12 years. And this is really the first service that I'm coming to here, and I'm happy to be here. Yep.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Hey, my name's Alex. I'm in Port Charlotte. My friend Jane invited me to come, so I'm very excited to meet everybody, and thanks so much for having me.
Alex just happens to be my best friend in Illinois' son, and very incidentally, he is a chiropractor in Northport. My son is a chiropractor where his mom lives.
Okay. Oh, one more.
Hi, I'm Randy. I live in Port Charlotte now. I was just checking this out. So thank you.
Very good.
Thank you, all of you, for taking that risk. That's awesome. And I hope that this service is at least moderately satisfying. We're going to get through it one way or the other. I want to thank and offer praise to those providing this sacred space for all of us this morning. It's due to C.A.R.E people, cleaning inside and outside people, sound and logistics people, committee people, trustees, and function supporters, and the music people. They're mixed up among you, sprinkled. Good morning, and thank you for coming. Thank you for doing all that you do to make this possible. We're going to have a chalice lighting, and I am going to ask that you join me in the words in your program. The chalice lighting is available to everyone who's watching at home as well as those here. You can light your chalice with us as a symbol of the intention we have, and a reminder that this is a safe community. This is a community we have created together. Our lighter today is Patrick. And thank you. Enjoy the light that we create, please. And we'll read in your program, love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service is its law. This is our aspiration, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to help one another. Now, I've been reminded that it's perfectly legitimate for me to ask you to stand if you're willing and able. And if you're not, or for any reason don't stand, we won't hold it against you. But the music that we're about to attempt is the Teal book, number 1012, 1012. When I Am Frightened is the name of this hymn. If you will stand, we're going to create the music as we look at it. So I'm going to open my Teal book too. And when Thank you. And I want to now remind you that this is our second Sunday. And today, our program is focused on the organization C.A.R.E, which stands for Center for Abuse and Rape Emergencies. Our speaker today is Jamie Hufford, and she's going to have a part of the program soon to remind you of the importance of this organization in our area and the work that they do and why it's important that we support them. I have opening words that are evidence of other Unitarian Universalist groups who also work on this problem. These are the words of Amanda Udis Kessler, who was asked by people from the First UU Church of Springfield, Missouri, to put together a song, really, and it has to do with the problem, and her music would be available to us, but I chose to read it because I think the words are the most important. The lyric is the most important, and she put together a wonderful song, but I'm going to read it to you. It's midnight, she calls you. She just needs a friend. It's nothing, she tells you. He hit her again. She's frightened. She loves him. He's gentle, then crazy. It gets out of hand. You tell her to leave him. She says there's no way. You hang up the phone. How can she stay? Love her before you judge her. See her point of view. She's trapped by dreams she had and nightmares coming true. Caring is mixed with terror, and shame is mixed with pride. Love her before you judge her. Listen and take her side. He handles the money. The car's in his name. He tells her he loves her, then says she's to blame. He swears that he's changing, if she'd just believe. He swears that he'll kill her if she tries to leave. Would he hurt their daughter? There's no way to know. With all that at stake, how can she go? Love her before you judge her. Walk inside her shoes. Everything she has right now is something she could lose. Leaving will bring more danger than choosing to remain. Love her before you judge her. She never chose this pain. It's midnight. She's frightened. She calls 911. He says she'll be sorry for all that she's done. These calls are a nuisance. The cop's not impressed. Quote, domestic disturbance, unquote. He makes no arrest. The cop leaves. He hits her. The call did no good. How foolish she was to think that it would. Love her before you judge her. Work to save her life. Build a world that won't dismiss her simply as his wife. If we restore her power, we give her back her choice. The hurting and pain can end trusting in her decisions. and honoring her voice. We've packed the music together this morning, and there's another opportunity for us to find meaning in the music. Say again? The music is number 149. Lift every voice and sing. And if you choose to stand, that's okay. We're going to find it in the gray hymnal. Lift every voice. folks know that song for several reasons, but the lyrics, again, are supportive of the ideas we want to talk about this morning. We have a long tradition at UUFCC of sharing our joys and sorrows and life milestones. And we haven't lighted the chalice yet. We did. There it is. It's light. I couldn't see it. Sorry, Ben. We're going to share our joys, sorrows, and life milestones by entering them into the book of life. And these messages can be written in the red book. That was this in the back of the sanctuary, which has already come forward. Those at home, welcome to email the thoughts you have, the entries to the book of life, to the office, and we will also embrace the tradition of dropping stones in the bowl. Let me get first to the entries in the book. And there we have January 12th. Yesterday was International Thank You Day. I have much to be grateful for, including you all. From Laura A. The water symbolizes the community, and the stones represent your joy or sorrow. We invite you to come forward and drop a stone either in silence or briefly share aloud. Please, if you have a concern or a joy, the microphone is also, I hope, going to help you.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm very glad that Jamie is here today to speak with us about C.A.R.E. at the request of the Social Justice Committee. I know of at least 3 instances in my life where I needed that kind of emergency help, and there's stories there, but let me just say, in one instance, the police who were called in a desperate situation, they came to the door and he says, "Well, did you have sex with this man?" And then there was another instance when the policeman said, do you want us to do you want to press charges? And he said, "You want to put this man in jail?" Anyway, that's just a mention. And so when you don't have these kind of programs of help and you turn to law enforcement is inadequately prepared, especially when most of them are male, to adequately understand or deal with that, and they may take another side in the situation. So it's very important that we have this help in our community.
I have 3 items. The first one, to piggyback on Louise. I chose this, instead of a shiny rock, I chose one that was rough. And my grandson is in the process of having a relationship like this with his girlfriend, and that's breaking my heart. Next is Jackie's at home with our dog. Both of them are really sick. And the third one is a positive one. This is a positive intention for the quick delivery to us of a music director.
Good morning, I'm Patrick. I just have a concern that hopefully will come resolve to a relief. I have two friends, a man and woman, mostly the female I'm friends with. And in the past, she has left this man twice. And she's currently away from him. So she recently said he had choked her a couple times. And just seen him recently, and he said, oh, he can't sleep, he misses her so much. So I will be giving her C.A.R.E's phone number. So, and also she's the one who I give hugs to. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jane. First of all, I'm very grateful to have Alex here because I miss my family deeply. I moved here in June, and a lot of my friends have been able to come because of various ailments, and I have a grandchild, 2 grandchildren, and my kids would rather not fly here with COVID still around. So the poem I also resonated with. At one point, I thought I could help this person I was with. I saw a lot of the signs, and I thought, oh, I'm a therapist, I can help. Anyway, it was years and years ago, and it's done, but some of us are too caring, and we believe that somehow they're going to improve when they have less motivation than we do. So I'm so glad that is behind me, but the poem was, it was really touching. Thank you.
Well, I have a sadness that I'm sure all of you share, but the fires in Pacific Palisades, California, with 12,000 people losing their homes, and it's going to be way more. It's just very sad. And just to piggyback, COVID is still around, but you know what's really around is norovirus, so wash your hands.
I have a joy. I have a joy. As some of you know, I am a member of the International Tag Police. That's where if I see a woman or a man out in public with the tag on the back of their collar sticking up, waving in the wind, I am compelled to ask her or tell her or him that their tag is out. Now, this organization I've been a part of now for 10 years. And it all started with a guy in France, and his name was Protagonist. And the poor guy wanted to get into the fashion industry, but they just wouldn't accept him. So he came up with this idea to have this organization, the Tag Police, International Tag Police, to help the fashion industry, because it was so embarrassing to have a woman with a very nice dress on with the tag sticking out. So I'm celebrating 10 years now. Thank you.
This last stone represents unspoken joys and sorrows in our hearts. May we hold these and each other in love and tenderness so that this fellowship may be a source of strength and comfort, courage and hope in the days and weeks ahead. Please join me for a moment of silence, and I have to warn you, this moment is going to be a little longer than some of our other moments. In the tradition of Unitarian Universalism, congregations often exist because of the generous support of their members and friends. It is our privilege and our responsibility to ensure the health and future of this fellowship. We have several ways you can give, in the basket being passed around, with the Venmo application made to the UUFCC offering, or you could mail a check to the office. If you're here for the first time, please don't feel obliged to give. You are our guest today. There are two offerings, and I am bound by our order of service, the use before you, to include the two together. The first one will be for the organization. The second, this organization, UUFCC, the second will be for the C.A.R.E organization. And the reason we are spending time is to understand that they have a need and we can help them. We are now going to accept the offering. And the program may have included an encouragement for you to include the music that's in our gray hymnal, number 402, From You I Receive. From you I receive, to you I give, to Thank you for your support. And now I'd like to introduce Jamie Hofford. And I want to note that there are many of you, as have I, there are many of you who have experienced this problem of abuse or rape in our lifetime. And we've seen it. Some of us had it happen to us. It is so important that we offer services to those people in our area who need help. Jamie?
I'm a giant, so I gotta move the microphone. Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for having me. You guys are always extremely welcoming, and I love that. I know I had a whole kind of spiel that I was going to come and talk to you guys about, but after being here and listening to the stone stories that you guys were telling, I'm gonna completely eliminate all of that, and we're going to talk about that and some of the specific things that you guys mentioned, because I think it's important. But first, I know 2024 was a rough year, especially for Charlotte County specifically. We got hit, and then we got hit again. Nationally, it's been a rough year, but we're now in 2025, so Happy New Year. Maybe some things didn't necessarily go the way that we hoped they would, but we have to remain hopeful that 2025 is going to be a positive year, and that we'll all get through it. Obviously, there's going to be some obstacles, but we have to try to remain hopeful. And so working in the human services field is always difficult to try to do that, right? So when you're experiencing other people's situations in their life and trying to help that. Even though 2024 was difficult because of Charlotte County and the community that we all live in and that we all work in, we were still able as an organization to provide a normal Christmas for 18 families. The donations we got for toys was fantastic. The amount of love and clothing and gifts for mom and those type of things and things that for the shelter to use. Charlotte County still came together. Even when parts of their house were floating away in Milton, they still came together and were able to provide necessary things for our clients that we work and try to service every day. So I appreciate everything that you guys have done and everything that the community in Charlotte County has done for us. But I wanted to kind of touch a little bit on some things that people said. So first off, the lyrics that he read in that song only could be experienced by somebody that's been through it. That is exactly the feeling and the thoughts and the words of a domestic violence survivor. Very powerful. That was excellent. It gives a great depiction of the people that we talk to on a daily basis. Patrick, you stood up and mentioned the strangulation and that they had been choked. When we do assessments for people in a domestic violence situation, that is one of the questions that we ask, because that is the biggest red flag in a violent relationship to kind of trigger us to know that this person needs help. This is going to continue to get worse. So that is a very specific qualifier in terms of the services that we can provide. You had mentioned that your grandson, was in an abusive relationship. It's not just men abusing women. It's women abusing men as well. It's women abusing women, men abusing men. So we are not, people kind of have a misconception about CARE and that it's a women's shelter and we only service women. No, we've had men in shelter. It is not a situation that is gender specific, right? It affects anyone and everyone. Louise, I believe, mentioned something about the law enforcement, where they don't necessarily react the way that we would think they should. We work on that in the community as well in training. C.A.R.E trains our local law enforcement so that when they do go out, they have the information and they're armed with that knowledge to talk to a survivor, to talk to a victim, and get them the help that they need. So we're continually working on that and trying to make sure that we're all on the same page and working to provide that care. So you guys hit everything in terms of points and flags that we look for and things that we, talk about when we are out discussing kind of the services that C.A.R.E provides. I know the last time I was here, we talked about the child care center. So one of the biggest issues that we've had in the past years is everybody knows that I don't know if everybody knows, but after COVID, child care was non-existent. You could not find a slot. There was a 2-year waiting list. There was all kinds of people having issues with getting childcare. And so when you factor that into a survivor in shelter who has worked to get a job, her kids are in school, she's found a place to go, but she doesn't have it, like the younger kids doesn't have any place for childcare. And so they end up going back to the abuser because it's just easier, right? It's just easier. He's in charge of the finances. So where else are they going to go? What are they going to do? So we worked collectively with the community again. The community's been fantastic with getting a child care up and running specifically for our survivors. So that way, they've been in shelter, they've gotten on their feet, they've got their own employment, they've got their own bank account, they worked through counseling, they're doing their thing, and they're in a much better place than they were when they came in. And now they can get that job, go out, and they've got a place, a safe haven with qualified education instructors for their children, cost-free. So extremely, extremely proud of that. That will be opening. We are hopefully slotted in the next couple months. The doors will be open. But you guys will get all that information. I'll send an email out so that you guys have that information. But it's extremely awesome. We're very excited about that because that is a huge key in making sure that they don't go back because that's our goal, right? We want them to go in a different direction, but we know that sometimes it's easier and when you feel defeated. So we're trying to eliminate that. I like to open up for question and answer, and I could do it for hours and hours, but I was instructed specifically not to. So I will keep it short as I can, but I just wanted to come and thank you guys again for always being supportive of C.A.R.E. And like I said, I was going to go on and talk about all of our services and list them out and all of the upcoming events that we have, but you guys mentioned such poignant things that I felt like we needed to address it. So I apologize if I kind of winged it. I wung it, like we said we were going to do. So with that being said, does anybody have any questions about C.A.R.E, our services, the child care center, domestic violence in general, anything, any questions? Yes.
Does C.A.R.E offer any treatment for the abuser?
No. Does C.A.R.E offer any services for the abuser? So we are in what's called an empowerment-based program. And so through the state, the funding that we get, it's strictly survivor-focused. So we do not, there's batter prevention programs and anger management programs and things like that that the state offers, but we do not have anything to do with that. We are strictly survivor-focused.
Thank you for joining us this morning, Jamie. I wondered if you have interpreters for people who are not native English speakers and if you provide services to undocumented people.
Lovely question. Yes, we do. So the state provides us with a 24/7 interpreter line. So at any given moment, if we have somebody walk in or someone call on the hotline that does not speak English, we can call this number, transfer them in, and they will find someone who speaks, I think they've got up to 500 different languages now. An interpreter will be on there within 20 seconds, and we, carry on. What was the other question? I'm sorry. Undocumented. Yes, we 100%. 100%. Patrick.
What's going on? Wait, Patrick.
I volunteered for tutor English at the schools for students not from other countries. They have tablets in each school, and there's many different languages, and you can bring that up, and that would be something beneficial for your staff if people are there to get one of those tablets.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for that.
I have a question. I'm originally from Ann Arbor, and there we have the law was changed so that the woman would not have to press charges, the state would, which is wonderful. And I wonder if there's been any action like that in this area to try and get those laws.
That typically is what happens. So the victim could choose to press charges or not choose to press charges. The state can easily pick it up on their own and take it. Because we often know that, in the heat of the moment, right, it's up here, and so the cops come, they're upset, everybody's upset, and she wants to press charges, and all of that's going down, and then he apologizes, his family gets involved, they kind of talk her out, what are you going to do without him, he's the breadwinner, and then she decides not to press charges. The state can still take it if they choose to. You guys have great questions.
What's the scope of your service cycle for a victim?
Yep. So typically the cycle kind of goes the same for most people. Call comes in on the hotline. The advocate will do an assessment. It's a 24/7 hotline. They can call anytime. They'll do an assessment. If they're looking for shelter, they'll bring them in. And shelter can be anywhere from, typically it's a minimum of 6 weeks, I would say. And then depending on where they're at in their progress, they'll be working towards different things, whether it's childcare, finding a job, or finding an apartment, those type of things. We'll prolong it. It could be months. But in terms of outreach services, so counseling, support groups, therapy, financial services, EJ services, where they sit down and can do credit, build up their credit, work on resumes, those type of things. Those are unlimited. Everything is free, and they can use those services for as long as they need. And they can come back 10 years from now, and they can still.
In situations where you have spousal abuse, what's the likelihood that there's also child abuse going on in that home?
So I can only speak from my narrow observation with that, but not a lot. Generally, when the survivors that we see, or that I see, it's all lumped on the wife, or it's the survivor. The children are hardly ever affected. Now, in a child psychologist's mind, they're extremely affected, right? Because children are sponges. So regardless of whether they're in the room or not, they can hear things, they can feel things, they pick up on that. So depending on how you look at it, is it abusive to the children to be in a home like that? Absolutely, even if no one's ever laid a hand on them. So it just kind of goes. But in terms of having to call child services because the children are being abused as well, I don't see that very much at all. That's the worst. So when I first started doing counseling for domestic violence, my old boss told me, she's like, you're going to discover that you have a thing, right? Where most people, it's children, right? They don't want to hear about the child abuse. So being in this field, you kind of have to create a shell, right, to be able to listen to some of the things that you hear. And so I have worked in the past with at-risk youth for years and years. So I was kind of had that shell up. But what I was not ready for was hearing about the abuse to animals. That is a huge red flag as well, and it's definitely on our assessment. If they are abusive to animals, they will often take out their anger on the survivor's dog or cat, and then it comes to the terms where they have to leave, and they don't want to leave the dog, so they stay in the relationship. We've seen that numerous times as well. So that is definitely an issue. Yeah. And I don't like to hear about that at all.
Yes, I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor of abuse. I'm a male, and I'm glad you made a comment about it's not just, it's individual usually, because abuse of any kind goes on between individuals, not men and men. It's always women and husbands. Anyway, and what I commend you for point that out, because like I said, I was serious, I was seriously abused by my wife.
Yeah.
And what you've said about children, though, that he went from children to animals, what you said about children, it does affect them. 50 years since my case happened, I agree with you about the police. They don't have any training whatsoever. I agree with, but it does affect the children a lot. Like I said, 50 years later, I still deal with the abuse that was imposed on my daughters at the time. So,
yeah. Thank you for sharing
bringing it
that.
up.
And I'm sorry that happened to you, but I appreciate you sharing that. So it's a 24/7 facility, so it's staffed all the time. Security cameras posted all the way around. It's a locked door, barbed wire gate. We've never had anybody try to get in, never had anybody try to climb the fence or sneak in or bust the door down or anything like that. So, but no one's getting in without getting buzzed in. So, and then if they don't try to get buzzed in, they're either going to get snagged on the wire or we'll see them in the camera. And then we do tests twice a year. PGPD is 12 seconds out. So they're very quickly, if indeed that does happen.
Hi. Hi. My name is Betty. I was at a Democratic Club meeting yesterday, and there was a call for donations for C.A.R.E food pantry. We were told it was almost completely empty, so I'm hoping you mentioned that.
So one thing I do want to mention, everyone's heard of the Homeless Coalition, correct? Okay. So in 2024, they changed their name. And they are now the CARES Center of Charlotte County. So there's going to be some confusion until people get adjusted to that. I know, it's going to be very difficult. But so I have a feeling that is because the Center for Abuse and Rape Emergencies does not have a kitchen. But I know that the CARES Center of Charlotte County does. So I'm assuming that is what we are discussing there.
We see quite a few articles in the newspaper and otherwise of elder abuse. Does that fall into your area?
It does, but it's very specific. So there is an actual elder abuse hotline where the Department of Children and Families get involved in that. So we will direct them to who they need to speak to and kind of how that works. And if it's in terms of domestic violence as well as elder abuse, then obviously that falls under our purview. But we will get calls for, we see this a lot. We are specific to intimate partner violence. Okay. So husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, whatever you call it. So it's very specific to intimate partner. But we do get calls a lot because we know Charlotte County is a large retirement community. So we will get older, like mothers whose adult son has come back, decided to move in, and he's very abusive to mom. And mom doesn't want to call the police because it's her son. That's her baby. And I 100% get it. So we do see quite a bit of that. And we will help them, you know, we provide resources and kind of help them direct where they need to go with that. But there is a specific area for elder abuse that they work in. She had a follow-up to her.
Yeah. I just was wondering if you could come. Oh, I was just wondering if you could comment on what they call the honeymoon phase of abuse. I know when I went through it, there was a period of like 2, 3, 4 months where everything was perfect, and then it kind of cycles around each 4, 6 months.
Yep. And that's what I always talk about with
I was going to say, I think that's what prevents a lot of people from seeking help.
Mm-hmm. Right. So when I'm talking to somebody and they're kind of not, because you have to understand, when someone comes in and maybe they've never been in an abusive relationship before, they've never voiced the words, right? They've never kind of decided, oh, this is abusive. It's just, this is not what it used to be. And so how do I get back to what it used to be? And that's where you have to have a really hard conversation with them about the honeymoon phase or the wooing period. And I always tell them, if you go out on a first date with somebody and they punch you in the face, you're probably not going to go on a second date. So the first 2-3 months, they're going to do what they can, right, to bring you into the fold and make it seem like it's too good to be true. And a lot of times when we do support groups and things like that, we talk about fast-moving relationships. If it seems too good to be true, things are moving quick, he wants me to move in with him, he wants me to break the lease in my apartment and get our place together, those are all things that should be a red flag because, you know, isolation is huge in domestic violence. So if we get you out of your lease, where are you going to go when this turns south? If I isolate you from all your friends and family, who are you going to call? Right? So there's plots and plans and things like that in the background. But yes, the first few months, it's going to look like the Cinderella story that everybody's always wanted, right? And then you'll start to see little pieces of the actual thing. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, the thank yous, the flowers, I'll never do it again. Then it starts to turn into, if you didn't act this way, I wouldn't have to do this. And then just repeated constantly, flowers at work, apologizing, bringing you your favorite jewelry, those type of things, love bombing you basically, to get back in your good graces. And then it's just going to be, domestic violence is just a cycle. That's what it is. It's one vicious cycle.
Here, my name is Stan. I'm thinking of the movie Gaslight with Charles Boyer and Ingrid Bergman. And I'm wondering, with regard to the eligibility criteria for your organization, is psychological abuse a criteria that allows one to participate, or is it you're shaking your head, yes, simply physical violence or abuse? Emotional, physical, financial, verbal, psychological, any of that constitutes abuse in our eyes. So yeah, absolutely. I would say the larger portion of clients that we serve, there's more mental and verbal abuse for sure. That's huge. That's where it starts, essentially.
I'm wondering if you also see clients who are victims of child trafficking or trafficking.
You know, that is such an amazing segue. Yes, we do. But trafficking in and of itself is another animal altogether. We have had survivors of trafficking that maybe like law enforcement has gotten out and they've needed a place to stay temporarily, and then we will help them get to an actual human trafficking program. So because that's a whole other animal that we are not set up for. However, we do recognize human trafficking because we are a sexual assault center. So January 16th, we have a human trafficking symposium every year in January. And this year it's January 16th, next Thursday, or this coming Thursday. Patrick will be there. But 20 or so vendors around the Harbor Event Center. And then we will have 5 to 6 speakers talking about human trafficking, law enforcement, legal, survivors, and advocacy agencies. So just putting that out there, 9 a.m. to noon, Punta Gorda Event Center, Human Trafficking Symposium. Thank
Okay,
you very much for allowing me to speak.
That's going to be it, Bill.
And thank you. If anybody has any questions, I will leave cards out front. Please feel free to call me.
Thank you. Thank you for your patience. Thank you, thank you, Jamie, for providing a lot of information. And I know that there are more questions. I saw it. I'm also concerned, though, that for those of you that had to leave after an hour, you're still here. And there will be another piece of this program. So if you're satisfied to remain with us for another, almost 10 minutes, possibly, there's another important part of this service that I want to make sure we get included. And I'm going to supersede the program that you were offered, what you're expecting. There is music, there's future UUFCC actions. I want to make an announcement that the Nicaraguan art show will only be up for 2 weeks. Other than the 30% that goes to the fellowship, the rest will go to the Nicaragua project, which will use all the proceeds for food for those in need in a primarily artisan village in Nicaragua. Donations are welcome, and checks may be made out to the Nicaragua project, which is a U.S. 501c3 nonprofit. See Lori D. for details. The closing music, the Die Gedanken sind frei, is a wonderful thing, and the music is a support for the idea that your thoughts are free. It's in German, and it frightens some people to try to sing it in another language. So I don't want to. Lori, I'm going to try to skip this because thank you. Because we've got another important piece of the program that isn't in your OOS. The important piece of the program is sponsored and promoted by the IJC. And some of you may realize that that's the Immigration Justice Committee. And you have all been totally informed about the progress that committee has made. The fact that we have, in fact, finished, for the most part, with our support of an immigrant family that is now successfully established and pretty close to being firm in United States citizenship. I want to invite Myrna Jari to the microphone because she's got a piece that is, for some, a surprise, and we want to allow that surprise to happen.
Thank you. Thanks so much. I've been working with the Immigration Committee that I'm sure that you all know about it. You know about our family and the great success. And I'm here today to congratulate everybody, to congratulate this congregation on supporting this family, on supporting the work of immigration and of justice and immigration justice, and supporting that is justice for everybody. So it's really a critical thing that this fellowship has done, and I congratulate you all. And all of this would not have ever been made possible without our staunch leader, Betty. Betty Barriga. And I'm here today on behalf of our committee and on behalf of you all to offer her, Betty, come forward, please, to offer her a plaque in support of her. Oh, thank you. Yes. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Okay, Betty, this is yours for Betty. So let's read it. Oh, if I can read it. Okay. To Betty Barriga, Chair of the Immigration Justice Committee, UUFCC, 2017 to 2025. For you, oh, can you hear me? No. For your dedication to immigration justice and for tirelessly and successfully helping the Garcia family move toward independence and citizenship. Betty, this is for you. Thank you very much. May I say something? Yes, of course. Betty's going to say something.
I would like to thank you all. I moved here with my mother in August 2016, and Donald Trump was a candidate for president, and I was shocked when he was elected. And I knew it was going to get hard for the brown people because he ran on an anti-immigration platform, and this church had a social justice committee, but they were involved in so many other causes and supporting so many local organizations that they couldn't devote the sufficient time to address the problems that were coming up. The separation of families at the border, raids going on, taking place in different places. But you were so understanding of it's been a difficult journey. It's just, thank you. Well, I accept this on behalf of my committee, Ted, Myrna, Laura Anderson, Lori Douglas, because without them, I wouldn't have done we wouldn't have done all the work we managed to do. And the work still continues. It's going to be very difficult the next 4 years because we are, the brown people, are the ones that are being targeted. So I thank you.
You want the box? Look at what a pretty box it is. Thank you.
And for closing words, I just want to note that both topics are of extreme importance and won't go away. They remain a part of our challenge for the future. Extinguishing the chalice, Patrick has helped us again, and I would like you to read with me the words published in your program. We extinguish this flaming chalice, but not the light of hope, the fire of commitment, or the warmth of community. May those ideals shine in our lives and warm our hearts until we are together again. Go now in peace. Thank you.